Hi guys, welcome to my channel or welcome back to my channel. This week we are going to do a reading challenge. I have been in a reading slump now for I think about 2 or 3 months, and so I thought what better way to get out of a reading slump than do some sort of reading challenge. And I've tried like finishing my TBR, I've tried all sorts of things and it's just not been working. So this week we're going to do a random generator chooses how many pages I read per day. I also want to make it realistic, so our random generator is going to pick a number between 0 and 100 rather than anything larger than that, purely for the fact that I haven't been reading and I don't want to include audiobooks in this challenge because I am at the moment listening to quite a lot of audiobooks with my new job. I can kind of put my headphones in and lock in, so I've been listening to a lot of audiobooks, so I want to get like my physical reading up. So with that being said, the book we're reading this week is The Friendship Pact by Jill Shalvis. I've been wanting to read this book for so long. I will say my pages is going to be a minimum. I'm not going to, because it's going to try and get me out of a reading slump, I am not going to cap how many pages I can read. So if my random page says 50 and I end up reading 150, perfect. That's kind of the aim, is we want to be reading at least the pages, if not more. So what's this book about? Let's read the back, and then obviously when I can check in I will give you more updates. So, will finding out the truth lead her to true love? Alone in the world, Tay Holmes and her mother April pretty much raised each other, but as Tay starts asking questions about the father she's never met, April for the first time in her life goes silent. To make matters worse, Tay is dangerously close to broke and is saved by landing a contract with an adventure company for athletes with disabilities and wounded warriors. While her first big fundraiser event falls flat, it brings Tay face to face with Riggs Copeland, the former Marine she hasn't seen since their brief high school fling. Tay is still intensely drawn to him, but like her past, buried and burned, hence their friendship pact. When April oddly refuses to help Tay track down her father, Riggs comes to her aid. On a hunt to unlock the past, they find themselves on a wild ride and learn a shocking truth while also reluctantly bonding. Now Tay must decide whether she's going to choose love or walk away from her own happiness. So it's kind of like friends to lovers. It's going to be interesting, but let's first of all see how many pages we will be reading today. So I'm just going to get up a random number generator on my laptop, just literally like any of them. So I've put in 0 or 1 to 100 there. We're going to click generate in 3, 2, 1. So we've got 51 pages today. That seems doable. I tend to walk on my lunch, so that does seem doable. I mean, that is the start of a chapter, so I'll probably aim to read to the end of that chapter, which is only to 58. So I'm going to put my bookmark in there. That is how much we are going to read today, like minimum. And yeah, I'm feeling good about it. I'm hoping I will enjoy the book and want to read a bit more, but I will check back in later. I tend to walk on my lunch in work, so this book will probably be being read this evening. So if I don't check back in today or tonight, then I will check back in tomorrow to update you on whether we hit our pages or not. But yeah, I'll speak to you guys in a bit. Good morning guys, happy Tuesday. I thought I'd check in with you guys this morning about my pages from yesterday. So yesterday I needed to read 51 pages, but I rounded it up to the next chapter, which was 58, and that got us to chapter 7. As you can see, I did complete them. What I will say is that was a struggle. I had lots of filming bits and pieces to get done yesterday, and obviously I was working and stuff and hitting my steps and all those goals and stuff that can't just go away just because I am like reading for a challenge. So I left all my pages until bedtime, which is fine, except from yesterday I was so tired. So I got into bed about 9:20 to do my reading, and I was like, okay, it's like 50 pages, probably be about an hour, that's about right, and then I can go to sleep. I tell you what, I struggled. I hit like the 30-page mark and I was like, I just want to go to sleep. But because of this challenge, it pushed me to keep reading, obviously, and hit my pages. So I am very happy to have them finished and like to get to that point, because I was like, I don't want to have to add yesterday's pages onto today because it's just a lot. I always feel like this challenge is hard when you're starting a new book, because especially a romance book, I'm not in with the characters yet. I'm just meeting them. So you're just meeting kind of Tay, and you're seeing her start off with on the back obviously it said about the disastrous fundraiser. So you're meeting her like that, and you're seeing kind of the fundraiser happen, and you're seeing her bump into the male love interest, which absolutely fine. We've just got to the point where like they've met each other and there's been some sort of like tension, but they both decided they're not going to act on it, I think, which is a really good place in the book to get to. I'm just hoping within the next kind of like chunk of reading, I get a little bit more of the romance and it kind of hooks me a bit more, because I like the writing. The writing style is gorgeous. I've read books by Jill before and loved them. So I know I like the writing. It's just, I feel like with any book, you need to get that hook. And that hook often in a romance doesn't come right at the beginning. It will often come kind of like halfway through as such. So I definitely feel like I need to read a bit more today to try and get fully hooked into it. But the character dynamic between Tay and her mum is interesting as well, because you only saw a little bit of that, but obviously they're quite like, there's only 15 years between them, so they're quite close in age. So that, I think that's going to play an interesting role in this. And yeah, I'm very intrigued by the book, but I'm not kind of into it yet. But with that being said, obviously I hit my pages yesterday, which is really good, and I just want to kind of keep on top of hitting my pages each day. I would love to finish this book in this challenge. So the book is 352 or 356 pages. So obviously I've got just under 300 pages left. So if I can get kind of a few days of higher numbers and finish this book for this challenge, that would be like great, because that would be kind of the first time I finished a book within a week in a while, and then that will set me up really well for the rest of my month finishing my TBR, which you will see in another video as well. So with that being said, let's get our random number generator up. If for some reason it generates 51 again, I will re-spin, because obviously we don't want the same number. But obviously I don't think it will. It's very unlikely, but if it does, then I will re-spin. Okay, so we've got between 1 and 100. It always comes up with 2 to start with, so that's not our number. 3, 2, 1. 92. Well, I did say for more pages. I am really busy today, so this could be fun. But let's see what page that will get us up to. So we are currently on page 58, and we're going to add 92, and that's 150. So that will be just under halfway in the book. So let me take our bookmark out, go to 150. So here is 150. Where's the closest chapter end? It's 162, so that's fun. There are like shorter chapters and longer chapters in here, so that takes us from chapter 7 to chapter 15, so it's about 8 chapters, which is just over 10 pages a chapter. So not ideal in that sense, but we will get reading today. I am hoping I'm out for my niece's birthday this evening, so hopefully I'll be able to get back from that and get on some reading. I might read on my lunch. It depends on the weather. Basically, the weather's not looking great, so if it's raining, then I tend to read on my lunch, and if it is dry, then I'll go for a walk. Ideally, I want to go for a walk, because then that means I don't have to do my steps later, but if it's the other way around, then I'll just have to do my steps tonight on the walking pad or whatever. So yeah, I'm going to love you and leave you, because I have been rambling now for like 5 minutes, but I will check back in later to let you know any updates, whatever, and how we're getting on. And yeah, see you guys in a bit. Good morning, guys. Happy Wednesday. You join me again getting ready for work, because it's just the quickest and easiest time for me to check in. So again, we're doing our skincare, but I have news on last night. So I did get to the pages that I needed, so I didn't finish the chapter. I left all my reading. So last night was my niece's birthday, and so we went out for food, and then I came home and was sorting bits and pieces out, and basically just kind of procrastinated getting ready for bed with scrolling, which was annoying. So I basically left all my pages until I was like in bed, which is fine. I got into bed nice and early, but I was still really tired, and it kind of, the end of the chapter was an extra like 17 pages or something stupid, and I was just like, do you know what, my bare minimum was to get to 150, so I got to 152 because I just wanted to get to like the end of a page with a full stop, so it was left on a nice spot. So we did get to that point, so I got to like the bare minimum pages, but that's fine. I am just under halfway through the book and I am enjoying it. I do think potentially we're gonna see a bit more from like the main characters now. I feel we've not had a lot of interactions, we've had a lot of kind of setup, which is absolutely fair enough. Like, there was a lot of setup in this story to get you to where you are. I don't know whether book 1, because this is technically book 2 in the series. Yeah, so I was like, did book 1 follow the brother of the male main character in this book? But I don't think it did. I think these are interconnected in the sense that they're in the same space, same place. I don't know whether they're connected. You know how sometimes they're interconnected because they're like found family or like step brothers, whatever. I don't think it's like that. I genuinely think it is just like the same location, which is why they are all together. And you might see kind of brieflings of different characters, but this is small town romance, so you're getting all those small town vibes. Especially this book is based around disability kind of support, so that is really, really nice to read about, especially as if you've been here a while, you know that my background is kind of special needs in education, so that's all obviously really interesting to read about. And yeah, I hit my pages. I am getting into the story a lot more. I do find myself wanting to read it, and I don't know whether that's just because I want to get to my pages or whether I actually want to read it. So I am relatively busy today. I've got lots of editing that I need to do. Obviously I'm going to work, and Matt and I are going to the gym after work as well. My steps are quite low because I didn't get a great night's sleep, so that's kind of okay. I can kind of deal with them during my lunch break. But then Matt and I are going to the gym after work, and then I also need to wash my hair. So I'm going to have a busy evening, and I've got editing to do, and Matt's coming round, so he's staying around tonight. So I've got kind of a busy evening, which means I don't think I'll have a lot of time to get to my pages. So I'm kind of hoping for a smaller number today to then hopefully have a couple of big numbers over the next couple of days to finish the book off. But we shall see. So let's do our random number generator again for today, see where we're at, see where we get up to. You honestly couldn't write it last night, so I didn't hit my steps during the day, and I needed to do some more. So I was literally walking on the spot reading my book, trying to get these steps in, like walking and reading, and that is never me. But I was just like, I'm never gonna, if I'm gonna watch YouTube while I'm getting my steps in, that's fine, but that's an extra 10 minutes where I could read like 10 pages. So that's what I did. So like I say, we got 92 yesterday. I'm hoping for a slightly smaller number today, but we shall see. Right, I've changed it from 1 to 100. The 7 was just there when I went on it, so that is not our number. 3, 2, 1. Brilliant. 76. That is not the small number that I wanted, but you know, we'll be fine. So I'm on page 152. So we've got 152, add our 76 is 228. So let's see where that is. I think that definitely puts us in the over halfway mark. So that's really nice. That kind of puts us in the back end of the book then, because of course the chapter starts on 227. So I'm going to put my bookmark in the bare minimum, but sometimes I will read to the end of the chapter. That is a fair chunk. So I'm hoping to get this done. I don't know when, because I think Chloe and I are going to go for our lunchtime walk together today. So it will be being done this evening. It might mean that I don't get a lot of editing done. I'm trying to get editing done, and each day I'm like, yeah, I'm going to get some editing done. And then every day I kind of come home and I'm like, I need to read my book. So we should hopefully get to our pages. And then that does leave us with like just under 130 pages left, so that should be easily doable on the last couple of days. But yeah, I'm hoping to kind of get a slightly larger number Thursday and get like more of the book done than I am on Friday, because again, Friday I see Matt and he'll come round, and it's a Friday, so we generally will go out for food or whatever, so it's generally a busy evening, and like I say, I've got lots of editing to do. I've got about 7 videos that need to be edited and sorted, so ideally I want to get them done this weekend. But yeah, I shall check in with you guys later when I hopefully have read some more and let you know some more thoughts. But so far I am really enjoying it, and I am intrigued to see how the characters are getting on, like what the characters are doing, so that's obviously a really good sign. But I just wanted less pages today, but you know, I've got less steps, so we can't have everything. Hi guys, happy Thursday. We're on Thursday. So I have some updates because it is currently 9:10 in the evening, and I did not check in with you guys this morning, but you will have seen that I did do my like random number generator for my pages, which we got, I think 26, 36 maybe. I will say I did not finish my pages yesterday, so we were due to get to page, do you know what, I can't even remember, because basically what I've done is I've added my pages onto today, because today's pages weren't that much, because if I added the pages onto where I was, it was only going to get us to 217. So I must have had 26 pages, yeah, 26. So I was like, right, no, I'm going to add them on. However, I have not read as much today as I thought I would, but we're fine. I'm currently on page 206, and to get to the end of our pages is 254 or 255, the end of, I don't know, somewhere around there. So we've got about 50 pages of the book to read this evening, which is doable. I'm going to get into bed now and I'm going to read as much as I can, and then I think that will then leave us with, if I read to the end of that chapter, which is 260, just under 100 pages. And I think what we're going to do for tomorrow, rather than spinning the random number generator, the aim is going to be that I finish this book tomorrow. So that is the plan of action. I am really enjoying this. I was reading this on my lunch actually before Cassie came up to see me, because she was in the area when I was on my lunch. So she was like, oh, I'll pop up and see you. But I was like really enjoying my book, and part of me, like, as much as I love her, part of me didn't want to see her, because I was just like, I really want to finish off my book, or not finish off, but read more of my book. And then Matt and I went for a walk this evening as well, and again it's been raining all day in Plymouth, and again I was like to him, I was like, oh, are you sure you don't want to go to the gym instead of go on a walk? Because you know, it's raining. And he was like, no, like a walk sounds really good actually. And where we went for a walk was close to where he had football. And I was like, oh, okay. And when I was out on the walk with him, I was like, I was just really hoping you would say, yeah, no, let's go to the gym, because then I can go on the treadmill and read my book. And he was like, you're honestly a nightmare. But yeah, so I haven't read as much as I wanted to today. I've wanted to carry on reading. So the plan is obviously to finish the pages this evening. I'm just literally taking my tablets for the day. Finish the pages for this evening, and then tomorrow will be to finish the book, and then I will give final thoughts, check in and everything tomorrow evening. So you won't see me in the morning, but you will see me in the evening. And then my weekend is filled up with lots and lots of editing. I've got another book that I want to try and finish, because I am midway through that one as well. So, you know, we've got fun weekend coming up, which means I really just want to get this book finished, because like I say, I am enjoying it, and I kind of want to know the plot and the story, and I don't want to put it off too much, because otherwise I then will regret putting it off. And also, if I spin the random number generator tomorrow and I got like 30 pages, then I won't have the motivation to finish it. So I feel like if I just say, nope, do you know what, by the end of the day tomorrow this has to be finished, we've got it. So I will check back in the morning to let you know if I finish my pages, and then let you know roughly how many pages we've got left until the end of the book. But so far I am really enjoying it. I do really like Jill's writing, and I am intrigued to read the rest of the story. I like the setting, I like the characters and stuff like that, and I like the writing, so I am intrigued to read more from this setting. But yeah, I'm gonna go so I can actually finish off getting ready for bed and get into bed and carry on reading. But I will check back with you guys in the morning to let you know how many pages we've got left, if I managed to reach my pages tonight, and then I'll check back in with final thoughts. I have some updates, guys. I know I said I'd check in Friday. It is now Sunday, and I also know Thursday evening I was like, I'm going to try and finish my pages tonight, and then the plan for tomorrow is that we're going to finish the book, and I'll let you know in the morning how far we got on, how many pages we got left, and as you can tell, none of that happened. I also didn't finish the book Friday. I tried my hardest, and with the World Cup on, Matt and I were up later Friday evening than what we normally potentially would be, but I just couldn't stay awake. I was so tired. Same Thursday, I didn't hit my pages Thursday either, because again, I was just so tired. I, for the life of me, could not stay awake, and I kind of sat there and was like, I could push through, but then I'll be really tired tomorrow. So I was like, you know what, it's not that deep. I've read some today, I feel happy, like I've got some reading in, so that's obviously what matters, and making sure I'm hitting reading every day. But I did get up Saturday morning and finish The Friendship Pact by Jill Shalvis. I have rated this one 3 stars. I really enjoyed the writing style. I just found that the book, although good, I feel like the blurb let it down, and I know that that sounds a bit counterintuitive, but the blurb is saying how Tay is going to go on this big journey and find her dad, and Riggs is going to help her, and that's kind of what's going to bring them together. And I guess it kind of did, but Tay like doesn't go to find her dad until near the end, and this whole plot point happens right near the end. So I felt like I was reading this story and I was reading kind of a build up, and then it was page like 200 odd when she even thought about finding her dad, and that meant that it kind of, I knew what the whole story was going about. And I know that this has been said across like BookTube and Bookstagram and everything a lot recently, is where blurbs are giving a lot away. I feel like had this had just been a story or written, the blurb had said about Tay and Riggs having been like an old fling and Riggs coming back into town, then obviously the plot point about her dad would have been a surprise, and that would have enticed me more, whereas I knew that that was coming, and I was kind of sat there waiting the whole time like, how is this going to come? And also the fact that Tay was meant to be looking for a father, and actually Tay didn't do a lot of looking for a father, so there was none of that like mystery kind of element into it. And so I did enjoy it. I enjoyed the writing style. I'm intrigued to carry on with the series. What I have figured out is all of these books are actually standalone, so they're not interconnected. They are completely standalone. They are just set in the same place. So I don't know whether you might see like small cameos of the businesses or the characters with it being a small town, but they're not connected at all. It's not like you're following a friendship group or whatever. So I am excited to kind of carry on this series and see what I think about the other books, because I did really enjoy The Bright Spot, but I wouldn't necessarily highly recommend this book, and it is purely the blurb. I feel like if the blurb was shorter or had less information in, I would have probably rated the book higher, but I think because I went into this book knowing so much about it, I then had such high expectations that weren't met because they didn't hit as quickly as I wanted. So I think also knowing that moving forward, I probably will not read the blurbs for the other books and go into them more blind and have that reading experience in that way. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. I know it's kind of a flop. I failed most of the days. I hit my pages Monday and Tuesday, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday I didn't. But it was successful in the sense that it got me reading every single day, and I've even wanted to read a lot more over this weekend. Obviously I finished this book off yesterday, and then today I'm actually carrying on reading my other book that I was reading for a different video, so you guys will see that soon. But yeah, feeling a lot more in tune with wanting to read and wanting to get back on the bandwagon, and hopefully that will continue. I have been missing wanting to read a lot more. But thank you guys so much for watching. Comment down below what book you guys are reading at the moment, and I will speak to you guys next time. Goodbye.